Hello, Internet. Today we're going to be ranking all of the books I read in June. My June wrap-up in a tier list. Wonderful, magical. And as I am currently mothering my two children at the same time, this is going to be quick, short, concise. So let's talk about the tiers. The first tier that I have is 6 stars. Ah, book was amazing. Chef's kiss. Tier under that is good. Real good.
But my life is good. Really good.
Meaning the book was good. It wasn't chef's kiss, but it was really good. Under that we have book was alright. Under that we have nah, meaning book was not for me. And then on the bottom we have nope and DNFs. Books on DNF list are let's go. Are Hunted by the Sky by Tanaz Bethana. This is a YA Indian inspired fantasy, and I got to about 66% of this book and just figured out that it was a little too YA for my tastes. I'm 32 years old. While I enjoy an occasional book about coming of age of a young woman, I didn't enjoy this. The setting was cool, magic was cool, just didn't vibe with the character enough. The next book that goes on the DNF list is The Jinbot of Shantiport. This is a basically like a dystopian sci-fi Aladdin retelling. And I really liked the main female character. I really liked that in this book you actually saw how good of a thief, assassin, spy she was. It actually showed you that she was good at that. I just wasn't in the mood for this. I don't think the book would have been bad if I had finished it. I just wasn't in the mood for a sci-fi retelling of Aladdin when I was reading. I might actually pick that one back up. Then we have The Wren in the Holly Library. This book came out. I got it audiobook from the library, and thank God I did not buy it, even though the book is cute, because this book, I read 40% of this book, and I just wasn't into it. And this is an example of a book where they tell you she's a magical, wonderful, amazing thief, and she's not, because the first scene you see, she gets caught, and she keeps getting caught and beat up, and I just can't believe that she's actually a good thief. Also, the romance, non-existent until about 30% of the book, and then they have 2 conversations, and then suddenly they're like doing it on the dance floor, and you're like, romance? Who's that? Because that ain't romance to me. So yeah, 40% of that book, not for me. And then another book that I DNF'd is The Crown of Feathers by Nikki Proud-Preto. This book, again, YA. I really liked the idea of phoenixes and phoenix riders. Saw where the story was going, got to like one of the big reveals at the halfway point of the book, you know, and was like, I don't want to read 2 more books to like see this story unfold. Not for me. I say not for me, but I put it in DNF. I just didn't finish it. I was just like, no, I'm not going to waste any more time. Not that it was a waste of time, I'm just not going to waste any more. I DNF'd The Shadow of the Fox. I was trying to do a YA experiment. Do I actually like YA fantasy? Because I keep reading it and keep kind of getting disappointed. I have to be more careful with my YA choices, personally. So I got only about 16% of this. I just found myself wanting to watch Inuyasha. Go Inuyasha fans. Because this is just that same mythology, Japanese mythology inspired, and the female character was just way too young for me. She was like 16, and I'm just like, I can't relate. Was 16, just can't relate anymore. The last book that I DNF'd is actually a book that it was a ARC. I got a advanced reader audio copy of The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons, and I DNF'd this book at about 32% because I did not care about any of the characters in this book. This is a story, it's kind of like a heist story. The main female character is like, it's seemingly wrongly accused of murdering somebody and goes into exile and kind of just lives alone with her dragon. She's a dragon rider. And again, it was audio, so it wasn't really super clear what was going on. I would have benefited from actually being able to read the text and figure out what, you know, if this is a name or a place or like a being, you know? I would have benefited a little bit more from reading it. But the main character, she's wrongly accused. She goes in exile. She gets found in the jungle, like in the deep, called the deep, by a kind of like a ragtag motley crew of ex-dragon riders, and then they go on a mission to steal a dragon's hoard. Part of the magic system or class system where you wear a little ring and it says not only your class but your sexual preferences, your relationship status, and other things about you. And that really didn't come in back into play in the 30% that I read. Like, it was just a there, kind of probably to just kind of like give them romantic like things to talk about while they're on the road. I don't know. And there wasn't any spice that I saw. There was some spicy talk, but not actual spice. And it's not explicit. It's kind of like when you watch a DreamWorks movie and you're like, huh, that's an adult joke you made, but the kids don't get it. Kind of like that. I still want to try Jen Lyon's book, The Rune of Kings, but I'm still going to try it because I already own it. All right, so now let's go up to 6 stars. 6-star books. This will be easy, hopefully. The 6-star books, the best of the best new favorites, chef's kiss that I read are Kings of the Wild. The thing I kept thinking about this book the whole time was just like, wow, this writer, it's really cool how they came up with the idea to think about bands of mercenaries as rock bands. I love the idea of rock bands, mercenary bands, and like the juxtaposition of that. I just thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really cool concept, and then obviously the book was funny. I loved Slowhand. He's my new favorite. There was like a lot of poignant emotional moments too that hit. Loved it. Another 6-star book for me was A Crane Among Wolves by June Her. Now apparently she's written some other books. I haven't read them, but I will because this book was so good. This is actually a historical fiction. This book made me cry. It hurt my heart. It's about the female main character. Her sister gets taken by the Tyrant King. The fact that it's based on real history is kind of like shocking when you like read about what's going on. The romance was delicious and perfect and just angsty enough for me to be like, ugh. Gutted. Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. Woo! I love Indian-inspired fantasy. I love it so much. I really liked KKE, but this one is just like a cut above. I read this in like 8 hours. I just didn't do anything else. I just read this book. It was amazing as a mother myself to kind of read a book is about a mother, the goddess Ganga, who is forced to take on a human form and kind of fulfill this prophecy. And then the second half of the book, she's kind of stuck being a river. And but she only can hear news from the people that come to the river. So she's hearing about her son and the things that he's doing, but she can't really do much. For me as a mom, knowing that one day my son and my daughter are going to go out in the world and all I'm going to do is hear what they tell me. You know, I'm not going to know anymore what's really going on. And I was like, ooh. So maybe as a mom, this book might have hit me a little bit deeper. But regardless, I love Indian fantasy. Indian mythology fantasy. Love it. So I really enjoyed this book, like extra. Now let's go to the tier called Nah. I finished them, so they have that. I think that adds like a little, point of merit, but not great for me. And those books would be controversial. Circe by Madeline Miller. Didn't like it. Wasn't interested. Not a Greek mythology person, apparently. My thoughts on this book, really, I will sum them up like this. It was boring to me. I like the retelling. I kind of like the little feminist rage angle thing that's going on. And I guess what happened is that I finished this book and then I read the Wikipedia page and I was like, oh, I could have just read this. I kind of understand in the zeitgeist how Greek mythology retellings just kept happening, especially if you don't know anything about Greek mythology. I kind of already knew kind of what happened. So it was kind of just like when you watch a movie that is full nostalgia bait and you're just like, oh, look, Ares. Oh, look, Zeus. Oh, look, Prometheus. Oh. It was the only cool part. It was like, hey, I know that guy. I know that god. Cool. Last book in the nah category is going to be Pirodesi. Hot take, because everyone loves this book, and I didn't. I just hate getting yanked around. And this story is too ambiguous for me. I want to know what you're trying to say. Are you talking about mental health? Are you talking about this being an actual fantasy world? Are you talking about abuse? Are you talking about what are you talking about? And it's too ambiguous. There's too many. It could mean so many things. It's an allegory for so many things that this book bored me. I read 100 pages and went, you know what? I'm just going to read the last 20. And I read the last 20 and I was like, good thing I didn't waste any more time on this book because the end didn't justify all the time that I would have spent on it. I gave it 3 stars because I really wanted to give props, give stars, give snaps for the fact that someone could write a story like this that could mean so many things to so many different people. That's cool. I like that that exists. I just personally don't like getting taken for a ride. And I feel like this book did that. And I feel like I would have hated it more had I read more of it. So, sorry, controversial opinion. I think it's about schizophrenia, maybe? How the main character lives inside his mind and someone has to actively go kind of like meet him where he is to get him out of that. That's what I think it's about. Tell me what you think it's about. Let's go up to books I thought were good. Real good. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I am currently reading this book, Before They Hang, right now. And I know for a fact that I'm going to like this book way more because it's going to have a plot. And I think that the thing that people don't like about The Blade Itself is that nothing happens. Like, it's about characters. It establishes the first law world, right? But the point is that this book is kind of like typically the worst book. I still gave it 4.5 stars. It's just, I know it's going to go up from there. Galacta is my slimy little baby worm, and I love him. Reading the next book, I'm probably going to give that one 5 stars. Seems like everybody loves it. I'm only like 30% of the way in. Love it so far, but the first law, let's be real, it's not the strongest book, probably. I also loved Spy Family Volume 3. Fantastic. Love this little manga series. This is my first manga. And I love it. I freaking love... I just spit. I love all the characters. I love how goofy it is. I just think it's so cute and sweet, and I will be continuing. Great. 6 Crimson Cranes. It's real good. I'm not going to finish it, though, because I've heard the second in the duology stinks, and I'm not about to read a stinky book. I want to read good books. This is a YA book that I read that I was like, YA is really good. Same with Ember in the Ashes. So good. I really liked this book. It was YA that actually rocked. I was like, yes, this character, we're not focusing on the fact that she's young, we're focusing on the fact that shit's going down, and we want to prevent that shit, or fix that shit, and that's cool. I like that. So, great YA books. Crimson Cranes and Ember in the Ashes. I will be continuing Ember in the Ashes. I have the second book. I will be reading it. I will advise on how good it is. Starbringer by Tracy Wolff and Nikki something. I think her name is Nikki. Sorry, I don't know why I only put one author on this book. It has 2. Do I think that it is literature capitalized? No. Do I think it was really, really fun and I had a great time? Yes. Hence why I said it's good. Real good. If you're looking for adventure with romance and banter and space, read that book. This cover does not do it justice. I enjoyed the little Motley Crue that they had. I'm a Motley Crue kind of person. I love Motley Crue. It was like ice cream where you know it's bad for you. You know it that it's not going to do anything for you, but you enjoyed every second of consuming it. That's that one. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It was romance. It was romance and books, and who doesn't love that? But let's be real, it doesn't go in 6 stars because it's a romance book. Only romance that belongs there for me is Jane Eyre and Persuasion and Pride and Prejudice. But that romance and Book Lovers, delicious. I love my little cinnamon roll main character guy. Loved him. The Beautiful Ones, Silvia Moreno Garcia. Jane Austen with telekinesis. Need I say more? It was great. I actually hated the male love interest. I was like, why do you like this dude? There's no way we can redeem him. He's basically in love with someone else the whole book, or halfway through the book. And then he figures out, oh, actually, the main character, the main female character, she's actually really great for me. And this is actually going to be great. And then you're like, yay. But the thing about this book is that the villain character, she's like Regina George. Like, everybody gets victimized by this bitch. And she is so manipulative, and a snake and a devil, and I loved it. This is The Spell Shop by Sarah Durst? Sarah Beth Durst. I was close. The Spell Shop is an arc, and that book is coming out July 9th. Cozy fantasy. I like cozy fantasy, as long as something actually happens. This book is about a librarian, a introverted librarian, who really doesn't talk to people because she's just talks to her where she works in the library, and she steals spell books, and she goes to the island of her home, like her home island where she kind of grew up with her family, and begins to run a spell shop, but it's a jam shop. And this town, and like she doesn't want to reveal that she does that, so she's really trying hard to like hide that. The male love interest is a cinnamon roll. He is the gooeyest cinnamon roll. He's so cute, and we love him. We love him. We love him. He's my new book boyfriend. What is his name? I don't remember, but it doesn't matter because he's so cute. He's like a farmer, and he trains seahorses, like seahorses. I just remember the feelings that he gave me, and I really, really appreciated that like real introvert representation in this book, because the main female character, she don't want to go to town because she doesn't want to talk to people. She like actively does what I do, and it's like, how can I avoid people the most? Do not diet when you read this book, because all there is cinnamon rolls and bread in this book and jam. And do not be on a diet like I was reading this book, because it will make you hungry. Anyway, fantastic book. I cannot wait for it to come out because I'm getting my copy pre-ordered. The Darkness Within Us. Trisha Levenseller can do no wrong for me. Everyone thinks that The Shadows Between Us sucks. And sure, I guess it would suck if someone didn't have imagination. These books are like reality TV crack to me. The Shadows Between Us and The Darkness Within Us. I got The Darkness Within Us as an audio arc. Loved it. These books are like when you watch 90 Day Fiancé and you're just like, these are two terrible people who I shouldn't be caring about or watching, but yet here I am. And you love every time they're a mess. And these books are about messy people doing messy shit. And I love that. Messy people doing messy shit. I love that we kind of take the character from the first book and just turn it on its head and make her even more dastardly and diabolical. Now let's talk about the books that made me kind of go, eh. And then we'll be done here. The books that made me go, eh, were Harrow the Ninth. I'm still going to read it. I've talked about this. You watched that video. If you didn't, go watch the video. Harrow the Ninth took me for a ride on a roller coaster that I ended up finding out, just to summarize, was not a roller coaster. It was a merry-go-round. But I loved it. This one is like the highest of the eh. By the way, these are not in any order. They're just kind of like where I put them and when I decided to talk about them. They're not in any order. Are they though? No. Combat Codes and Grievar's Blood, I've decided, yeah, they're kind of eh. I'm going to keep reading them though. Eh doesn't mean bad. Eh just means like, I'll continue. Eh. Like that. We talked about Combat Codes and Grievar's Blood. Watch that video. Fathom Folk. This book, I think, is probably not controversial because everyone seems to hate it, but I actually liked it. It's about immigration. It's about prejudices. It's about discrimination. How these people on this side think they're superior, and so they look down on the people on this side. And these people are like, our country sucks. Let's go to yours because there's food there. There's water there. There's stuff there. Let's go. And then them getting kind of that kind of like fight between, well, we don't want you in our country. Well, we can't stay in ours. which I think is very poignant in this day and age. So I really enjoyed that concept explored in this way. It's humans versus sea creatures, and I enjoyed that, exploring it in that way. I think my favorite character was the sea witch, because she's a mom. What can I do? I'm a mom. That's the way I am. I didn't really like any of the other characters, and the things that happened in the book they were really cinematic. Would be really good as like maybe a Studio Ghibli or like an animated movie. And I will be continuing because I do want to like see what happens to that character. But was it 5 stars? Obviously not. And the last book we're going to talk about, Rogue Protocol. I'll be honest with you, I listened to this audiobook while under the influence of remember anything about this book. It's just kind of the same old Murderbot doing Murderbot shit. Just want to watch soap operas. Kind of made me kind of, do I want to keep reading Murderbot? Like, do they get better? Some people say that the novel was really good, and do I want to wait? Do I want to read 3 more books to get there? I don't know. Do I want to continue? But it's like, it's not a priority. Let's put it that way. That is my June wrap up. Thanks for hanging out with me while I just talked and talked and talked. See you next time. Bye.